Subscribe for more. Executive Order 14,220, addressing the threat to national security from imports of copper. February 28, 2025. Section 1. Policy. The Executive Order recognizes copper as a critical material essential for U.S. national security, economic strength, and industrial resilience. Copper is vital for defense applications, infrastructure, clean energy technologies, electric vehicles, advanced electronics. Key concerns identified: increasing foreign dependence. The U.S. relies heavily on foreign sources for mined, smelted, and refined copper. This dependence creates vulnerabilities in national security and supply chain resilience. Global supply chain risks. A single foreign producer controls over 50% of global copper smelting capacity. This producer also operates 4 of the 5 largest refining facilities, dominating the global supply chain. Economic and security threats. Global overcapacity and foreign market manipulation distort copper prices. The concentration of supply in a few foreign nations increases the risk of economic coercion. U.S. policy response. The administration will evaluate whether imports of copper, scrap copper, and derivative products threaten national security under Section 232 of the Trade Expansion Act of 1962. Section 2. Investigation into the national security impact of copper imports. The Secretary of Commerce is directed to initiate an investigation under Section 232 of the Trade Expansion Act to assess the effects of copper imports on national security. 2. A scope of the investigation. The investigation will analyze all forms of copper, including raw mined copper, copper concentrates, refined copper, copper alloys, scrap copper, copper derivative products. 2b. Key factors to be assessed. The Secretary of Commerce must evaluate several critical factors under 19 U.S.C. 1862d, including domestic copper demand, assess current and projected U.S. demand in defense, energy, and infrastructure sectors, domestic production and supply chain capabilities, evaluate if U.S. mining, smelting, refining, and recycling can meet demand, foreign supply chain dependence, analyze how U.S. copper demand is being met by foreign exporters, concentration risks, determine whether U.S. copper imports are overly dependent on a small number of suppliers. Foreign trade practices. Assess the impact of foreign government subsidies, overproduction, and unfair trade practices on U.S. industry competitiveness. Economic impact of market distortion. Determine whether foreign price manipulation, e.g., dumping and state-sponsored overproduction, harms U.S. producers. Potential for foreign export restrictions. Examine whether foreign nations could weaponize control over refined copper supplies by imposing export bans. Feasibility of expanding U.S. production. Explore ways to increase U.S. mining, smelting, and refining capacity to reduce import reliance. Trade policy impacts and protective measures. Consider whether tariffs, quotas, or other trade measures are necessary to protect U.S. national security. Section 3. Required actions. 3a. Interagency collaboration. The Secretary of Commerce must work with Secretary of Defense, Secretary of the Interior, Secretary of Energy, other relevant agencies. Their collective goal is to assess the national security risks associated with copper import dependency. 3b. Report to the President within 270 days. The Secretary of Commerce must submit a comprehensive report to the President within 270 days, including findings on national security threats, a determination of whether U.S. reliance on copper imports threatens national security, recommended actions to address risks, policy options such as tariffs, export controls, incentives for domestic copper production, policy recommendations to strengthen U.S. copper supply chain, strategic investments in domestic copper production, permitting reforms to facilitate new mining and smelting operations, recycling initiatives to reduce dependence on imported copper. Overall summary. This executive order directs the Secretary of Commerce to investigate whether copper imports threaten U.S. national security and propose actions to strengthen domestic supply chains. Key objectives: assess national security risks, investigate the impact of foreign copper imports on U.S. defense, energy, and infrastructure, evaluate economic and trade threats, examine the effects of foreign price manipulation, market control, and trade barriers, Develop policy solutions. Recommend tariffs, export controls, investment incentives, and recycling initiatives. Strengthen U.S. copper industry. Encourage domestic mining, refining, and smelting to reduce import dependency. By invoking Section 232 of the Trade Expansion Act, the administration seeks to secure a stable copper supply, protect national security, and boost domestic production in the face of growing foreign market dominance. Subscribe for more!